welcome to the Intranet Reloaded Boston 2015. I'm with Ken Barnett from Disney Consumer Products. How are you, Ken?
Good.
Could you quickly introduce yourself, introduce what you're doing at Disney?
Sure. I'm the Senior Manager of Design and Operations for the communications team within the Consumer Products Division of the Walt Disney Company. So I manage the overall design of the intranet, and as well I do a lot of other internal communications. Our intranet is built on SharePoint 2010 right now, and moving over to 2013, and we're constantly looking to see how we can improve it and make it better, and so it's one of the reasons I'm here.
That's great. So you were sharing yesterday with some of your peers during a training session. Could you maybe quickly introduce what you were talking about, your topic?
Sure. Well, I guess it's kind of one of my soapbox issues. I feel really passionately about the role that design can play within internal communications as a whole, and specifically in the intranet. A lot of times intranets are fairly utilitarian, and they're built around the functionality of the things that employees have to do, and I think companies oftentimes miss out on an opportunity to be more engaged with their employees, be more effective in their communications, and help their employees to be more productive by implementing quality design, which would help with all of those things. Oftentimes companies can't afford a designer for the company, and so that kind of gets put by the wayside, and articles get posted, and interfaces are typically built around what the tools can do. So if we have SharePoint, then it looks like this. If we have Jive, it looks like that, and it's just we kind of just go with the out of the box look. And not that necessarily may be bad, but when companies don't put a focus around the user experience and making sure that their culture, their style is coming through, they miss out on a lot of opportunities to help make those employees more productive and more engaged and feel more connected to the company and what they can do.
Okay, so design as a tool to basically try to enhance the user experience and the engagement. And then what are the challenges you're facing in your everyday job trying to implement that in the project?
Thankfully at Disney we have a very high bar set for quality, and all of our managers and directors and stuff feel that it's important to put that emphasis on quality in everything we do. So it doesn't matter if it's a communication for only 50 employees or a communication for 6,000. We try to put the same level of quality and set that kind of Disney bar within all the things we do. So I'm very fortunate to have several designers on my team that were able to bring that level of quality in, and not that every company needs to do that. Certainly smaller companies it's more difficult, but I think that any company, regardless of the size, can really benefit from having their internal communications and their intranet thought through carefully by designers, and as I mentioned, by doing so they're really going to benefit from having stronger communications, clearer communications, and so they're really helping themselves by making sure that they're each communication that we put out there to employees, whether it's on the intranet or another way, is the most effective, and it really represents the company in the right way, rather than maybe the text is there, but the overall look and style of that communication could be much less effective if it's not thought through in that way. So I don't think that answered your question. Your question was, what challenges do I face?
No, that's great. It's great. It's great to get your perspective.
But-
So then maybe going back to the team you're working with. So I understand you're working with designers and you're overseeing what they're doing for the intranet. But who are the intranet stakeholders you're working with? Like IT, HR, knowledge management? How is the whole dynamic working at Disney?
We have three primary stakeholders. That's the communications team, the HR team, and the IT team. And so our three groups kind of share the responsibility for the intranet because those are the three teams that have the bulk of the communications. So the communications group actually kind of fields all of the communication needs for the rest of the business. And certainly we have our own needs. And then we partner with HR and IT for their communications in order to make sure that kind of everything passes through communications before it goes out to the different groups, depending on what the communication is.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really a partnership between the three, and communications kind of helps vet everything and make sure it comes across again with that kind of Disney standard of quality.
Okay, so collaboration.
Yes.
And talking or going, let's say, in the future, what do you think the trends are going to be in terms of intranet in the next few years? What would you say on that?
Well, hopefully design becomes more intentional and more deliberate. But I think another thing that will be a trend and needs to be a trend for companies that are focused on employee communications is helping to get communications more out in the open. So, peer-to-peer communications and things. Companies rely really heavily on email, but email is a very private way of communicating. I'm sending you an email, you're sending me a response, and nobody benefits from that other than the two of us. But by using tools like Yammer, and there's many other tools that are available that can be integrated into the intranet, but also work outside of it. Those communications, those kind of private, traditionally email communications, when they're exposed to the employee base at large, others can benefit from the responses. Others can contribute and add in where you might not have the answer for me, and in an email communication that kind of maybe dies at that point. But when that's moved to more of an open sharing platform, then and other people see it, then they can kind of chime in and add their input. And so I think that's really important for the future of company communications, social business.
That's great. And to close it up, I'd just like to get your impressions on the Intranet Reloaded Boston 2015. What did you think of the event format, the speakers, the community? I mean, we had great Twitter interaction during the conference. What do you think of all that?
I've been really impressed with the level of expertise of the speakers and just the those who have come to attend. Everyone is experts in their field. Everyone has something to add. The speakers have been amazing, and I'm really, personally able to take away a lot of ideas and concepts that I can bring back to Disney and look to, implement. So it's really been an amazing 2 days.
That's great to hear. That's what we aim to do. So hopefully we'll see you next year in Boston for the Intranet Reloaded Boston 2016.
Yeah, I hope to be here.
Have a great rest of the word cafes and a good weekend in Boston then.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.